Namaskar, I am Dr. Manaan Gandhi and today we are going to discuss about the connection between the gut and the human brain.
What does Ayurveda says about connection between gut and mind?
The gut has an entire nervous system of its own called enteric nervous system. And this enteric nervous system is what researchers are studying absolutely the most, because a lot of people in the modern scientific community suspect that this is probably singularly one of the most important factors of health. In Ayurveda, we've known this for a long time. In fact, you've probably even heard your neighbor telling you, "Sab yahan se hota hai." All problems start from the gut. And that's actually true. The enteric nervous system and the mind are so closely connected, and that we can actually see examples in our families, in our friends. You see elders, the day their emotions are clear and they're light, their mind is fresh, they're talking, they're wonderful people. But the minute they're constipated, the whole psyche collapses. They start, they're suffering so much, and that suffering, they become cranky, they become grumpy, they start shouting, screaming. They're not as pleasant as they were. And you know what? They themselves acknowledge this. Because you'll realize that your mind and your gut are connected. There are diseases based on this. Irritable bowel syndrome, or IBS, is one of the most common diseases that proves how when your mind is uncomfortable, your gut's affected, and vice versa, which means when your gut is affected, your mind becomes uncomfortable. But today let's talk a little bit on depth. Let's go into how this works. Your brain is made up of neurons, multiple nerves, and these nerves travel throughout the body using the spinal cord. However, like in all societies, there are a few miscreants who don't follow the rules. Similarly, there are certain nerves that don't use the spinal cord. They directly travel to the body from the cranium or the brain. These are known as cranial nerves. Out of which the 9th number cranial nerve is called the vagus nerve. Similar to Las Vegas, but it's spelled differently. This vagus nerve travels from the left side of the body towards the heart and supplies the gut. So whenever you have gas or your gut is a little affected, most people start feeling that there are palpitations here. They feel anxious. They feel pain. They feel that there's something wrong on the left side, which is not wrong on the right side. But most people don't know about the vagus nerve, so they assume it's a heart problem. The first thing they will do is they will go to a cardiologist, or they will probably do an ECG, a 2D echo. Probably they'll do a CT angiography or a proper angiography to later realize that everything is normal. It's just gas. Because of vagus nerve stimulation. It can lead to anxiety, palpitations, left shoulder pains, left cervical pains, and all of that. So the gut is the most important part of the human body, where you as a human being should concentrate, because your entire body is made up of what you put into your gut. You were 2 to 3 kilos when you were born, and now you're so big. Everything that's gone into your body is from what you've eaten, from your gut, except for the oxygen that you've taken from your nostrils.
How can Ayurvedic herbs and diet helps in both digestion and emotional stability?
So digestion and emotional stability are not independent entities, but they're dependent on one another. However, we can actually treat both of them simultaneously. Ayurveda being a holistic science, we can definitely work on digestion. In fact, we are known to work on digestion. The amount of understanding and depth that we have in digestion is, I don't think anything is even close to that. We look at 8 factors when it comes to digestion. We look at Prakriti. Prakriti is your individual constitution. We look at Karan, which is what kind of processing your food has gone through. We look at Sanyog, which means that there are things that cannot be mixed together. If they are mixed together, although individually they are great, but when mixed together, they will form really wrong reactions for your body. We understand Rashi, which means that the amount of food to be taken not just is as a whole, but in individual sense. So the achar cannot be taken like a sabzi and vice versa. Desha, which means we understand that diet changes according to your climatic condition. Kala, which means it changes according to your weather condition and the time of the day. Upayukta, which means there are individual allergies which we can identify, and your diet has to ensure that those kind of things are not included. And Upayog Sanstha, which means even though you've gotten everything right, the act of consuming food is very well highlighted. The way you consume food, it has to be without laughing, talking, with concentration. The food has to be snigdha, unctuous, it cannot be dry. It has to be warm, it cannot be cold. The vessels, the hygiene maintenance, every single facet is mentioned in Ayurveda, and probably 40 to 50% is mentioned in any other science. Which is why Ayurveda's understanding of digestion is very, very, very nuanced and very detailed. And when it comes to psychology or psyche, our entire spiritual sciences, Ayurveda, yoga, understands the human brain, the human mind, its internal desires, the latent desires of an individual to a very deep extent. So when really combined together, it is formidable and essential for a patient suffering from a disease that affects the gut and the mind together or individually.
How can modern lifestyle habits disturb gut and mind balance?
First of all, Ayurveda understands that the food that you eat depends on the producer of the food. For example, in our Shastras, we understand that if a human being who's producing food, the sanskars or the thought patterns that that person has is also reflected in the food. Or we could very simply call it the energies are transferred in that food. So which is why we always try to get the food made by a loved one or by someone who's of a little higher intellect or spiritual understanding, a more sattvic kind of a person. Because those kind of sanskars or those kind of energies are transmitted through the food to us. So because the person who's cooking food for you is also important when we are talking about diet, it is also important how you eat your food. If you are distracted, if that concentration and that respect to food is not given, if you are not chewing your food well, all of these things can lead to problems. And if you are not eating on time, let's say there's more than a 5-6 hour gap between your meals and your body is not used to such kind of gaps because it's irregular, the Vata dosh starts increasing, causing multiple issues. Also remember, nerve related psychological problems are majoritarily Vata problems. So you do not want your Vata to increase in that particular way because they will cause these kind of issues.
What are the simple daily practices and tips to improve gut and mind health?
I wouldn't call them tips, I would call them essentials. You need to eat at the same time every single day. Try to ensure that you do not eat stale food. You should eat food that is cooked fresh, at least within 4 to 5 hours of it being cooked, not later than that. Third, try and sleep on the same time. Don't sleep late. Fourth, ensure your bowel movements are clear. If for whatever reason your bowel movements are not clear, you are not able to clear your gut, then you please take help. And fifth is try and avoid stress, anxiety actively rather than leaving it to nature to give you less problems. Problems, remember, are not optional. Stress is. So if you ensure that these 5 principles are followed, there's a very good chance that you'll come out healthier.
Is Panchakarma have solution for gut and mind balance?
Panchakarma plays one of the foremost roles in resetting this. Specifically 2 Panchakarmas. The absolute best Panchakarma for this is Basti or enemas. Now when you listen to enemas, the thing that comes in is this for cleansing. So you put water and it just cleans the entire anal region. maybe an aspect of the large intestine, specifically the sigmoid colon, and comes out, and that's not true. That's naturopathic enema. I'm not talking about that. We're talking about Ayurvedic Basti treatment. In Basti treatment, we use oils, we use herbs, we use so many different tools and techniques. It's extremely advanced, much more advanced than anything that you've come across when we talk about enema, and it's catered individualistically to the person that needs it. So this is the best Panchakarma that you can do. Following this is Virechan, where we give medicated ghee and then we give loose motions to the patient. It's called purgation. It's done in a very methodical way, in a very systematic way, and under proper observation. So when these two Panchakarmas, depending on what a patient needs, are done, they are probably, undoubtedly, the best way to correct a gut-mind problem. Another great therapy for stress-related problems. So people who have irritable bowel syndrome, sometimes stress is the main factor and it's not the secondary factor. In this case, Shirodhara and Nasya work the best. Shirodhara is going to definitely make you fall asleep on the table itself, reduce stress, although a little temporarily, but when supplemented with medicines and treatments, this can show wonders. And Nasya, if you find that Vata dosh is there in your mind which is not allowing you to either sleep, or that every time you are a little stressed you have to run to the loo, or every time you have to go out you are a little stressed you have to run to the loo, all of these problems can also be stress related, and Nasya will really remove the doshas from these areas, trying to get your mind much more calm, much more peaceful. A simple home remedy that can be done for this is you can just use 2 to 3 drops of cow's ghee, melt it and put it into your nostrils every single day. If you also have trouble breathing, then do it at night. But if you don't have trouble sleeping, then you can do it anytime during the daytime. These were my 2 cents on the gut and the brain, their connection. How does it bother you? How can you prevent it? How can you help it? What can you do about it? If you feel that these kind of videos is something that you would like to see in the future, kindly help us out by pressing the like button and the subscribe button. And if you feel you'd want to share something that I must have missed out, or something that you just want to shout at me or tell me, please put them in the comments. I'll try to be there as much as possible. This is Dr. Manaan Gandhi signing off. Namaste.